Alrighty, traders. This is Blake Morrow. You are listening to the Morning Edge webinar. Hope everybody's having a great Friday. And I'm not gonna lie. I'm a little irritated at the market action. The market being up this morning. It's more of a letdown than anything. Just seeing the markets bounce back after having such a bearish close yesterday. I was like, come on, really? Are we not going to get some? It's more hopeful to have two-way price action in risk, because it's good for us, trading both directions. I hate not being able to do that, and it's just, I was like, man, yeah, new season. Maybe this will be the start, and then blah, just a bunch of garbage. Sorry, I hate to be so down on a Friday, but no, really with stocks up. But you got to think, right now it's like, okay, well, you got equities, and this is just the S&P, but you got equities, S&P, NASDAQ, Dow, all up like half a percent. So, do you sell into strength? I'm not going to sell risk. I'm not going to lay into, selling the S&Ps. I haven't sold the S&Ps. I haven't sold the S&Ps in, I want to say, almost all year. I would say that's incorrect, because I know I've traded the S&P at some point this year in 2021. But really, haven't been focused so much on short the S&P. But what I am doing, well, let me ask you this. If you guys are not in the chat room, if you're not in the chat room, what do you think I did this morning? Only thing that I've done this morning. I shorted some Aussie. I shorted it above, at 74.02 just a moment ago, because I'm like, we still have a false breakout for the week, any which way you slice it. And if you guys have been listening to the analysis at all this week, you know that, and even if you read right here, my analysis, we are still rejecting any move near the 7,400 level. I think false breakout and a move below 73.35 will put the 72.50 level back in play next. And I'm like, well, here we are, back at 74 cents. I'm gonna sell it up here. I think people that own, let's do it this way. I think people that own the Aussie dollar, are worried that we might get a false breakout this week. I think it's possible. So I want to be on the short side of the Aussie. Now, obviously, I'm not risking a whole lot. I mean, if it gets back above 74.20, I want out. But we're at 74 cents basically. By the end of the day, if we close closer to 73, let's say 73.70, 73.80, that's a bearish setup in the Aussie. So, I want to be short a little bit. I'm not a lot, but, be short a little bit. Chad said, me too. And I know better. Profitable in Asia always gets reversed. And I didn't take it off the table. Grr. Yeah, I know. That's the same thing. I was last night, I was sitting there looking at, I was looking at my trades, my Rand was in profit. Dollar Mex was profitable. I'm like, well, I should just pull those off. I mean, they're not big. They're small, but it doesn't matter. It's like, it's more of the irritation level that it brings me. You know what I mean? That's the key. Is it to me, it's just more irritating. And it was just irritating to get up this morning and say, dude, that's so stupid. Like, that was it. Anyway. All right. What we're going to enough complaining for me. We're going to get just ready for the day and the end of the week with the bias chart. So let's do it. Let's do it. All right. So the euro, we were looking at this as a bull flag.
Remember which song started with the guy saying, let's do it? Remember that? Wild thing, tone lock. Come on, you must.
Yeah, tone lock. That's right.
Yeah.
Let's do it. But he's got the let's do it. He's got the cool voice. I can't quite replicate that one. Speaking of, hey, you know what? You'd probably love this. Do you ever use like Pandora or Spotify?
Yeah.
Do you ever listen to Yacht Rock?
What's that?
Yacht Rock.
No, I don't know whose that is.
Dude, you got to listen to Yacht Rock. You're my age. You got to listen to Yacht Rock. Now, Yacht Rock is something I've been listening to for probably the last 5 or 6, 7 years. Probably like 6 or 7 years. I got turned on to it by my brother-in-law. He's like, have you ever heard the Yacht Rock station? I'm like, on, Spotify or Pandora or whatever. I'm like, no. And now I listen to Yacht Rock anytime I can. It's basically late 70s, early 80s, not pop, but more of like classic rock.
Okay.
And it's like, if I was on a yacht in the Hamptons, I'd be listening to Yacht Rock. That's all that is. But it's probably like my favorite station. Like when I want chill, like I'll just sit in my pool and with a Corona and just listen to Yacht Rock. And
I'm gonna check it out.
Oh God, it's great. Because you get a lot of that, everything from like Air Supply to Journey to
Nice.
that kind of it's the good stuff. It's not tone loc. It's not going to be any of that rap garbage. Just kidding. All right, sorry, I'm totally off base right now. All right, talking about the euro. So look, the euro. I hate to say this, but it really played into what I thought this week. And what I thought this week is, the euro is going to pull back. It's going to find some support. We're going to be mid-range for the ECB, and then we're going to figure out what we're going to do from there. Great, we did it. We hopefully you didn't get too bearish to the euro when we were down at 118, and hopefully you just kind of sat around on the sidelines with the euro. I actually have not been trading the euro at all this week. Actually, I take that back. I had traded it a little bit, but I'm not in it right now. And more of, I think I was selling up here and buying somewhere down here, but nothing super exciting. Nothing to, I think if I, was lucky, I made a few little pips here and there. But the point I'm trying to make is we're in a range, and even the ECB decision this week couldn't really get us out of that range. The one thing I have to point out though is it is a little weaker here, and I would be concerned if we break back below this 118. Now I know we were writing down support earlier this week at 117.85 because that's the 50% retracement, but I don't think I care about that right at the moment. I think what I care about at the moment is this trend low, because I think you got people that are like, okay, well, we couldn't sell off. We basically were holding 38% retracement. I'm going to get long the euro because it didn't sell off following the ECB. I'm just going to get long. So anybody who's long right now is going to get worried if you get below 118. So I'm going to mark that up as what happened here? Why didn't it should say September 10th, but why doesn't it do that?
The format has changed. Just right click on it and on the date and go down to format cells. Go up a bit. Format, no, down. There you go. And that should be, is the right format. Just open, just open the box a little bit. So cancel and just open that column a little bit to the right. The whole column from top. No. Undo, just to undo, Control Z. And just open that from the very top where it says F, the column F, right at the top. There you go. Just go open it a bit. There you go.
Yeah. That's interesting. Maybe it's
it's because it's September. It's a long month.
Long month and two. Yeah. And once we got into the next digit from 9 to 10, that's what happened. You're right. Bingo. Okay. So we should probably say that. Okay. Thank you. All right. I was like, what the hell happened? Okay. So support 118. And you know what? I should probably do this too. Yeah. I should, since I just stretched that one out, I probably, can I stretch this one out? No. How come I could do it on one and not the other? I'm the worst person at Excel. I am.
What are you trying to do?
I don't know. I was just trying to see how it opened this cell up. So resistance became longer. I wanted to do it. Same
yeah, you do. You go to column E at the top, right at the top.
Oh, right.
Grab
here.
the right part.
There we go. Okay. So I might as well make that a little bit bigger. And let's do this. All right. Now I'm going to save it. Okay. That's better. Okay. So 118. Thank you. Resistance. I am the worst. And Stelios may not remember this, but when I first met Stelios, I said, I'm the worst Excel spreadsheet maker ever. I'm like, I don't understand Excel.
It's okay. I have loads of experience.
I know. And that's why that's exactly what you told me when I first met you. You're like, that's okay. I can do anything on Excel. I'm like, good. Cause I can't. So 118 support, obviously 119.10 is resistance. And I think we just need to pay attention to that. I don't think there's anything really to do here. And as I've been putting down all week, we just keep it in range, right? Sterling. So, here we were trying to make a run for 140 and then, we couldn't even get past 119. Now I did send out an update saying that this 119.01 is the 78% retracement. So even if we got above these highs here, I wouldn't get suckered into that move. We get above these highs and I'd be like, okay, well, be a little careful. Be a little careful with too bullish up here while the 78% retracement is holding. So I'm going to write down 139 as being resistance. Okay. We're going to stay in range. Support intraday. I don't think bulls want to see it back below 138.20, which is basically this little, let's go to the hourly here and so no one wants to see it below this. Well, actually I probably right here, 138.30. Bulls ain't going to want to see that. All right. So, you probably got a lot of people going, oh, look, head, shoulder, long, and the fact of the matter is if it gets below here, it's going to start triggering some stops. So 138.30 is intraday support. And I don't think there's anything to do here. I don't think that you want to be, too bullish or too bearish. Aussie 74.20. Big resistance, right? That is the obviously previous support on an hourly basis, but that's the false breakout point. So let's just write it down. That's big, 74.20. Like I told you guys, I sold some at 74.02. And I'll stay short this morning. And if it closes below 74 cents, I'll be happy with it. Now, really key support is going to be right here. Well, you got the 38% retracement. So really, I mean, not only, I know you could write down 73.35, but I think you also have to write down 73.50. I think both of those, between this support right here, you can see all the wicks over here between that support here. And then you got the 38% retracement right here. You have to know both those levels. So you just have to know there's a couple of levels down there. Should we get down there? Kiwi. Now the Kiwi is back above this downtrend line. So just I was thinking about that this morning. I'm like, man, this damn Kiwi is just continues to hold up, so it's the one pair that, we've been flipping to bullish quite a bit over the course of the last couple of months, where everything else has been range bound or bearish. The Kiwi still maintains a very positive structure. Look at the NASDAQ just ripping this morning, right at the open. Pullbacks have been shallow. right? $71.70. Support is 70.75. Okay. Dollar CAD. So, following the Canadian jobs report, I was actually surprised we didn't sell off more. Does that mean you need to be buying the dollar Canadian? Not necessarily, but I think you've got to be respectful of the fact that following that Canadian jobs report, I still have a little bit at 126.25 from yesterday. I still do. I'm not doing anything. I'm not adding, but it is holding the 618 retracement. So let's, we'll write down 125.80 this morning. Resistance. Well, now any move up to 126.20 is going to find sellers. And a move above 126.20 would then open up a move to 127. So 126.75, I'm sorry. We're gonna keep that in range too. Swissy. Damn Swissy. 91, 92.40, nothing to do. Dollar yen, another, I'm going to use that F word again. A currency pair with a lot of fudgery going on. Key support, 109.60, resistance, 110.45. By the way, it's my wife and I's 18-year wedding anniversary tomorrow. Not tomorrow, on Sunday.
Nice. 18
years. 18 years ago, Stelios, we got married in Milos, Greece.
Oh, Milos. I love Milos.
I know, me too. Yeah, we got married in Milos 18 years ago. Can you believe that?
Nice.
I remember I was sitting at the Adamas, in like the little port town, whatever.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
So I was sitting there in Adamas, and we we'd been there for like 2 weeks, and everybody on the island knew us because we went in September. So everybody knew our group of like 10, 11, Americans,
Nice.
right? Yeah, and it, it was great. We knew everybody, and my wife's uncle's best friend was the governor of the island at the time. So anyway, we're sitting there, and I'm so happy. I haven't seen one American aside from my friends the whole last 2 weeks, right? And it's nice because it's nice being away from America, right?
Of course.
And all of a sudden, we're just sitting there. Everybody's like kind of nursing minor hangovers. We were 25, 26, but we're having coffee, eating breakfast in Adamas. And all of a sudden behind me, I hear this, well, God damn it, I can't get a USA Today anywhere around here. And I was like, I mean, you should have seen, like, all of us look like, somebody just screeched their fingernails on this chalkboard right behind us. And, all of us were like, what? Shoulders up to your ears, like that screeching sound you hear. And I turn around, and there's a really small hotel, within a stone's throw distance from us. There's this dude in a cowboy hat wearing his underwear like boxers, not like tidy whitey, but a like overweight, like probably 50s or 60s year old cowboy with a cowboy hat on, with cowboy boots, and only wearing his boxer underwear.
And looking for McDonald's.
He's looking for a USA Today newspaper because, obviously this is before, I mean, pre-smartphones and everything like that. And I was just like, all of us, we looked at each other. We're like, oh my God, that's so embarrassing. Like, we were so embarrassed to be Americans at that very moment in time. It was like, everybody's enjoying a peaceful, it's like 10 in the morning, which is early for island.
Yeah.
Anyway, I just remember going, oh my God. It was like our second to last day or something. We were just about ready to leave. And I'm like, oh, that's embarrassing. Now, this poor island's going to have to deal with this dude for like, who knows how long, God damn it, no kidding. He's like total like twang. And I was just like, geez, man. All right, that's where we get a bad name,
We have a very similar anniversary, but not wedding.
We don't want to know, Steve.
All right, well, let me finish analysis and we can go all day long. So dollar index found a little bit of support down here at 92.30. I do believe that 92 is going to be really key, and then 92.85 is actually the 50% retracement. That I was thinking we might set up an inverted head and shoulder pattern yesterday. It's just I'm not even thinking about that. I'm just, I'm more concerned with 92, 92.85, and we happen to be right in the middle of it. So, and guess what? We're range bound again. Dollar MEX. Finding buyers down here, nothing exciting. 1980, 2003. I think we wrote that yesterday. Nothing to see here, folks. Move along. You guys aren't, those of you that are not in the chat room, I just want to share this chart with you. So this is the emerging market, ETF. This is one of those that as long as it's trending lower like this, now, you got stocks at all-time highs, and, the EM is not following. This is one of the reasons why the dollar Mexican peso stays bid. This is all of 2021, right? From here to here, this is all of 2021, basically. And, you wonder why the dollar Mexican peso hasn't broke down. This is it. If we ever break this resistance here in the EEM, then I would be the first one thinking, okay, the dollar Mexican peso it's going to break 1950 or 1960. But while it's holding up, while it's in this descending channel, this is probably one of the things that'll keep the dollar Mexican peso, perched well
Blake,
above
if you check the daily chart on EM, you will also notice that once we broke through the 200 daily moving average, it has acted as resistance 3 times already.
Yeah, it has. And so that's the thing, you get above here and you get above the 200-day moving average, you get above that resistance, short dollar max, it's probably the right trade, right? But until that happens, you got to be really careful being short dollar max, right? And if we start trading back below, 50, you've got to think that the dollar Mexican peso is at risk of actually breaking out higher. So, just something to think about with the EEM. Yes, that is a big bull flag pattern too. So that's probably what bulls are sitting there hanging their hat on. And if you guys are, bears in the US dollar Mexican peso, you're probably thinking, hey, this is eventually going to move higher, right? Anyway, okay, sorry. Continuing on, dollar Norway, still range bound. I'm surprised it's holding up as well as it is, being that there's a big double top. But we'll see. I mean, we're back. We've been here all week, so I think we should probably just write down 860, 873. I think that's probably realistic. 860, 873 range. Gold, silver. Okay, so here's silver. Let's just get rid of that. There's no reason to even look at any of that. This descending trend line here, still important. So that means that this, well, that's 2490, but I think any move back up towards that's previous support, that's going to be the previous 618. So, 2450 to 2460. I'll write 2460, but support 2380. Second. Raj says, thank God that guy was not in the Speedos. Oh my God. I would have really probably went over there and laid him out.
Is this how the short underwear called? Because I thought Speedos are the bathing suits,
Yeah, they are but a Speedo, which by the way are pretty common in I know a lot of, I guess, well, at least it was. I mean, in Europe, you still see a lot of people that wear Speedos. We call them banana hammocks.
Okay. Okay, I get it. I get
it. Anyway, I would never, by the way, ever. I have a hard time wearing shorts that are shorter than like mid thigh. I mean, I'm just, I don't know. But I guess what I was going to say is, thank goodness. Yeah. Speedos are similar to, tidy whities is another term that's been used over the years. Yeah.
I used those in elementary school up until then, because afterwards you start buying your own stuff and
because you got to be able to see the skid marks, right? I'm just kidding. Sorry, it's so gross. We shouldn't have this conversation. Sorry, everybody. I'm going
seriously, guys. Seriously.
Yeah, I know.
I'm logging out.
Hey,
Bye.
I know.
Bye.
It's Friday. 2375. Stelios is like, for crying out loud, get me out of here. So same. Gold is 1830. I'm just 1770. I'm gonna let you take over. 70, 1835, which is key, or you could say 1830, 1835. I mean, everything is really range bound. It's sad to say, but it is.
Yeah, it is. It is annoying, but it is.
Bitcoin's trading heavier. I'm going to say, 43,000, obviously it's, we want to hold above that. But now I'm going to, and you can put bullish, but I'm not going to, because I don't like the price action in Bitcoin anymore. And I'm going to write down resistance today being 47.5, then obviously 53,000, but well, we're below 47. Oops, 47.5. I'm going to keep us in range now. I don't know if I had it on range yesterday, but it's going on range today. S&P, obviously, it's still bullish, as annoying as it is, but I mean, it is. You can sit here and complain about it like me, or you can just deal with it and 4460 support. Even if we got below that little low, you got to just, keep in mind where the trend line's at. there's a couple spike lows down here. So realistically, could you, sorry, let me get over to a daily chart. Could you forget those two, you know, important lows? Could you manage or move that trend line to these lows? You could. Okay. And if you did, then it's not 44.60 anymore. It's 44.45. So really we just say 44.50. And then 45.50.
And then
46. And this is bullish. And you stay bullish while you're above that. And that's it, man. I wish I had more to report. It's really this is a sad day. And Stelios left because we talked about poop. That's
it is a sad day because it's your anniversary, you mean?
And it's my anniversary. No, but I can't believe it. 18 years, man. 18 years. Even though we've been together for like 21, 22.
We've been together for 18 years and 1 month. Married in Vegas, right? Met in Vegas, married.
All right. Well, hey, I'm going to let you take over. Happy Friday, everybody. We don't have a daily roundup. So,
oh my God, somebody made a list. You have to look at this, guys.
Oh, Chad, marble sack, banana hammock, grape smuggler. Oh my goodness. Oh, he sent it to everybody too. That's
Miami meat tent.
That's a good
That's hilarious.
Saint-Tropez
truffle duffle.
Chad says, sorry, it's Friday. Oh my gosh, that's hilarious. I love the ForexAnalytix community. You guys are great. And Chad's a character, by the way. Thanks, Chad. Thanks for making my day. And by the way, for those of us Americans, American football started. Woohoo! All right. Have a great one, guys.
You're leaving to go watch football?
Yeah, it's called football, and they don't actually kick the ball with the foot.
Yeah,
actually, no, on the punts, punts, or they, yeah. Anyway, okay, or the field goals. So let me just post something. Hold on a second.
Is it something inappropriate?
Yes, always.
No, the day has it, from what it seems.
Finding very little to say actually after FACE. Risk is on today a little bit.
Surprise, surprise.
Sorry, surprise, surprise. Yeah, crypto still look a little bit shaky, but you know, they've been on a 50% rally since a couple of months ago, so it's still a correction. Currencies don't know what the hell to do. Euro dollar is still pretty flat, plus or minus 10 pips. I mean, I have nothing to say, man.
Speaking about equities, since we're talking about risk on, there is a little bit of a different behavior for the time being between the S&P and the Nasdaq. If you notice, we had this rectangle in the case of the S&P. We broke down from it. And since we did, we have failed repeatedly to close within it on a 4-hour basis and above, in having to do with time frames. But in the case of the Nasdaq, if you notice, we actually have never even broken through the equivalent rectangle. Yeah, I know it's, you know, nothing huge, no real big deal. We're talking about short-term rectangles in any case. But, you know, this is something I've noticed and something I'm paying attention to at the moment. So just putting it out there, as long as the S&P is holding below this 45.17 area, I think there is still some possibility to see weakness ahead. Now, we get the S&P breaking back within that, I'm pretty sure then that we've seen the low end. For once again, after a minor pullback, we're going to be looking for a push to new highs. which of course is, nothing surprising, nothing we haven't seen before. What else, Tel?
Not much. Sorry, my kids are talking to me. Hold on a second.
Yeah, sure, absolutely.
I have very little to say, man. It's another one of those weeks where we expected something, we got nothing, and it's been grinding. Stops get taken up and down on stuff that moves, not FX. And I really don't have anything to.
Speaking of movers, copper and crude oil are two of those.
Natural gas too. Have a look at natural gas.
I will show it, although not today. Today it's not really moving much, but today we have copper and crude moving somewhat significantly, both to the upside. And keep in mind that they also share somewhat of a similar structure. They have both been correcting the recent gains within descending channels. Here is copper, here is crude oil. Crude oil, as we speak, exactly at the trend line resistance. Copper, not exactly on top of it, but definitely close to it. Both of them look to me like it's very, very likely that they've already run the course of this corrective move, and they might be about to break higher. Now, do I think this is going to happen on a Friday in the remaining hours of the day? In the case of copper that has already moved 3.5% and is not exactly on top of resistance, I would be very, very skeptical, a little bit less skeptical in the case of crude. I mean, it's less unlikely for that to happen, but next week might actually signal developments, especially in the case of crude oil. We literally a week ago, we tested resistance for the first time after this rather sharp rebound higher. And the fact that within these past, like, what is it, 6 to 4, 6, 7 trading days, the fact that we haven't really pulled back and we, keep testing the waters, I think it's a rather bullish signal, which tells me that the chances of a breakout next week are rather high. In that case, as I've said before, I would be looking for levels even above $80. Honestly, I find it extremely likely. Now, these two have been moving significantly higher today. Natural gas, we talked about it yesterday as well, a big mover. Not today, not so much yesterday. The day before yesterday was a monster day again. It's very, very hard to fade strength in this one. We've talked about it before. At some point, it might have some deep pullback, but keep in mind that we're already trading at multi-year highs, and that is not a bearish signal any way you look at it, and that is not an indication that you should be trying to fade strength, right? So keep that in mind. Next upside target at 526 specifically, and then we can start looking about longer term upside targets. I think there is the potential for much higher prices, much higher than many people could even imagine at the moment. Blake already covered Bitcoin and Ethereum. I agree with him. I do believe that the recent price action after that very sharp move lower is pointing to further losses after this consolidation. So in the short term, I would definitely not be bullish. I think we can easily see Bitcoin back to the 42,500 pivot area at the very least. And in the case of Ethereum, I think we could easily see Ethereum back to the important area at 2.9 thousand. So keep that in mind. I don't think this is yet the time to be buying cryptos. I don't think that this move lower, if it proves corrective, that it's over. What else? Gold and silver not doing much, so no further commentary than what I said yesterday and the day before. They're still both holding above the broken channels, but admittedly there is, no real impulsive moves to talk about here, and especially if you revert back to lower time frames, like the 4-hour, you can make the case here. You can easily argue that gold has already broken down from this corrective triangle. And in the case of silver, that we've done the same, backtesting trend line as support as resistance, right? So admittedly, although I'm extremely bullish, all the monetary metals in the medium to long term, admittedly for the time being, price action is not really bullish in the short term, right? So I have no argument against anybody that wants to be short for a short-term trade. In fact, I think it's probably the path of least resistance for the time being. What else? Yeah, I wanted to visit a couple of the exotics because we haven't done in some time, and revisit what we talked about early in the week, starting Monday, actually, for the few people that were here on Monday, and I repeated that briefly on Tuesday, if I remember right. I wanted to revisit the crosses of Euro and Kiwi, mainly the Euro Aussie, Euro Kiwi, Pound Aussie, Pound Kiwi. We talked about the bearish potential on Monday. And just a fast review. These minor rebounds might be failing. Euro Kiwi, even more clear if you ask me. I think we had a breakdown from this channel. We back tested it and we're already pushing to new lows. So I think especially Euro Kiwi looks very clearly like a good short. And if you have a look at the equivalent pound pairs, here's the Pound Aussie, we might be at the end of this rebound higher. And if you look at the Pound Kiwi, I think we've already broken down, and this latest recovery looks to me like a short-term bear flag, right? So yeah, I think there's more to go with the Kiwi pairs. Of course, if you're looking for downside being, the obvious choice, you can see how much, worse they're doing. And you can see the reason in the Aussie Kiwi, right? Because if you look at the Aussie Kiwi has been inconsistent under pressure until since the end of March. So it's already been several months that the Kiwi has been overperforming the Aussie. And if you look at the bigger picture here, there is a lot of room to the downside without breaking a sweat, without really changing the bigger picture for the Kiwi to keep on overperforming the Aussie if it really wants to do so. So keep that in mind. Now, the exotics I was talking about and I wanted to revisit today is USD Chinese Yuan is one of them, and the USD Russian Ruble is the other one. Now, why the USD Chinese Yuan? Because we had a very, very clear impulsive downtrend, if you're asking me, and I think there is more to go with it. We then had a move to the upside, which wasn't impulsive in nature, a move to the downside, which also wasn't impulsive in nature, another move to the upside, which isn't impulsive in nature. So I've started thinking here that perhaps the formation that is currently in play is likely a symmetrical triangle. Right now, trend line resistance, we have one that looks rather reliable. Trend line support, we don't. So that's why I put it in an intermittent trend line, right? Because might be like this, might be like this. We need to see how it's going to play out, right? But I've started seriously thinking that the pattern that's currently in play here might be a symmetrical triangle, which once we break through it, we'll have to wait and see where the actual trend line support, how we should draw the actual trend line support. But I think that once we break through it, there's more downside to come. And if you look at the USD Russian ruble, you'll notice that we have a big symmetrical triangle here also. Not the same type of symmetrical triangle I'm looking in the case of the USD Chinese yuan. Admittedly, the USD Chinese yuan looks like a much better short. We had that prior strong impulsive move lower. In the case of the USD ruble, you can even make the case that this is a huge cup and handle formation unfolding here, right? Now, fundamentally speaking, I have to admit that I would be extremely skeptical in believing that the USD ruble can break through 83 and then not only do that, but also accelerate to the upside for a lot more upside. But technically speaking, yeah, I mean, I can't really refute that there is a potential formation like that in play. But in any case, for the time being, I'm looking at this big symmetrical triangle. As you see, trend line support is very, very close to where we currently are. So from a technical perspective, I think it is a rather interesting pair to monitor. Now, I think that's more or less it. So I'll be more than happy to open up the chat. And besides finding a huge list of synonyms for what do you call speedos? Let's see what else we have. Normal market is strong. Kiwi. Yes, Kiwi is strong at the moment, undeniably. Sol EuroCAD on the news, strong versus weak. Let me have a look at the EuroCAD, actually. I haven't had a look at it this week, I think, if I remember right. Yeah, in my opinion, if you sold the EuroCAD, that looks like a very decent trade. And why is that? Because the EuroCAD got rejected once again from the confluence of this symmetrical triangle trendline resistance and the 200 daily moving average. So, admittedly, that looks good. We have room to the downside. Also, let me remind you, we have this longer term trend line support. We break through that. Probably we're looking for much lower levels, but for the time being, I would focus on the shorter term formation, which is this triangle in blue. There is still a lot of room to the downside, even within that formation. So from a risk reward perspective, I think that looks like a good trade, John. Steve, to natural gas stocks that don't hedge, RRC and AR. Have a look, sure. Let me have a look. RRC. Yeah. Doesn't surprise me. It does look bullish. We do seem to have broken above this pennant. Upside targets 1886, 2062. Next. So testing the multi-year highs here at 17.5. I think a break higher is extremely likely with the two aforementioned upside targets. And AR looks more bullish, right? You see the divergence between the two of them, right? One of them has already produced a higher high, the other one not yet. So relative strength seems to be in favor of this one at the moment. AR with upside targets. First one already tagged the day before yesterday on Wednesday at 1680. The next one is at 1840. In my opinion, probably this will prove to be another very short-term consolidation of some kind. I think this one looks good for higher prices. Also, I don't see any technical issues at the moment. Everything looks good. Anything else, guys, girls, before we call it a day and a week? Okay, then. So I wish you all a wonderful weekend, and you'll hear from me again on Monday. Bye-bye.